Hi, I'm Svea Siegman. I work for Wiley. I'm a member of the advisory board and I chair the Positive Work Environment Community Group, PWECG, which recently merged with the Inclusiveness and Diversity Community Group, IDCG. We have a great group of people eager to help lead the W3C to its full potential. Slide 2. In the last year, W3C's Positive Work Environment published a revised CEPC, Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct, and ran several training sessions about it. IDCG, along with the team and AB, established guidelines for more inclusive timelines for meetings. We've adjusted vocabularies and our repos to remove terms that are not acceptable. In making TPAC's unconference more remote, we also made it more accessible, and it will stay that way. Let's take a moment to recognize how far we have come in just 1 year. Slide 3. There's more to do. I was invited to speak about diversity and inclusiveness at W3C. As we shift toward a legal entity, I want us to focus on the value of diversity in this organization. We need to be able to represent and work with everyone, truly everyone. Slide 4. In order to do that, we need to understand how to make people feel included. I'm going to speak about exclusiveness for a few moments. I will tell a few true stories about lived experiences in the W3C, starting with a story about myself. I was a chair of a working group in W3C and pregnant. I had many friends I knew I could rely on to help me if I had any issues, but I was extremely nervous about coming to TPAC visibly pregnant. I did not know how I would manage the situation. Would people mock me? Would they touch my protruding belly? How would I handle that? In the end, nothing happened, and everyone was truly kind to me, but the fear was real. Every person should feel safe in their work setting. Story 2. There were confusing labels on the bathrooms at TPAC. It was unclear which was the ladies' room and which was the men's room. This resulted in men and women using the same bathrooms. Many people were frustrated with the situation. Some people hovered around the entrances to the bathrooms trying to make a decision, unsure which bathroom to enter. A trans friend told me that it was somewhat satisfying to see others experience what she goes through every day. Story 3. The communal part of TPAC was held in a giant room with stadium seating, meaning that one needed to take stairs to get to all the seats, as well as to the stage. All attendees using wheelchairs, scooters, and other walking aids were given chairs all the way at the back of the room, extremely far away from the stage. I sat at the back with a friend in a wheelchair, looking at the people on the stage, wondering how it was that they were expected to feel like they were part of the party. Story 4. The IDCG invited Kim Creighton, a Black activist and consultant to the technology industry about diversity, equity, and inclusion, to discuss our efforts to write a Black Lives Matter statement with the group. And we were told the biggest problem with our group is that we are all white. We're working on improving that situation. Slide 5. Diversity is a numbers game, and we have not achieved great numbers. This is a call to action to nominate more diverse members. How many women are in each group? How many people from each region? How many people from the LGBTQ community? How many people with disabilities, and so on? Being an inclusive environment in which all of these people who bring so many different perspectives can work together can foster true innovation. We need to understand how to make everyone feel like they belong. Pause for a moment and think about a time when you felt excluded. Maybe it was your first week at a new job, your first time attending a conference, the time you were the only woman in a room. What, if anything, did others do to make you feel included? What did they do to make you feel excluded? Slide 6. We all have unconscious bias that we cannot control. There is an analogy to an elephant with a rider. The elephant is our emotions. The rider can push with logic and rationale, but it can't steer very much if the elephant does not want to move. The elephant just wants to be with other elephants. It is part of how we have evolved, our basic fight and flight behaviors. We unconsciously prefer things that are like ourselves. We can learn all we want about inclusiveness from a rational perspective, but it won't work because it is an emotional issue. So how do we nudge the elephant to be more inclusive? Slide 7. I'm going to talk about a few tips to help ourselves become a bit more inclusive. Discovery. Once we identify our own behaviors, we should feel the need to become more inclusive. Most of us, especially those of us who choose to attend talks about diversity and inclusion, support efforts toward it. We have to start by understanding our own behaviors and coming to terms with the fact that they exist. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Having a bias does not mean you act on it, but recognize the bias is the first step toward ensuring that you don't act on it. So, take a look at a site like Project Implicit. Even if you don't go through all the tests on the site, you'll get a sense of what the questions are. Slide 8. Make inclusive behaviors the default by building it into processes and procedures. We have a lot of processes in the W3C, and some of them already build inclusiveness in. Our queuing system that many of us use in our meetings might give turns to speak to people who might not otherwise have the opportunity. Think about what else we can build in. A simple example might be adding a scribe rotation to your meetings. Many have commented that women tend to scribe more frequently. Even if they volunteer, it might be because they feel that it's their duty to do so. An assigned scribe rotation can help eliminate these biases. Slide 9. Ask framing questions. Frame perceptions to make inclusiveness the norm. Ask questions of yourself and others to make things the norm. If she were a man, would I have interpreted her behavior differently? If he was tall, would I have listened differently? If she were not attractive, would I have paid more attention? If she was not blind, might I have listened more? Is he a teddy bear or a big scary guy? You might not like what you discover, but you will certainly learn a lot. Slide 10. Embrace feedback. This brings me to my next point. Learn to embrace the feedback that you get. You might not like the feedback. You might not even think it's true, but think about what you would do differently if the feedback were true. Slide 11. I've spoken a lot about what you can do as an individual. There's also a lot that you can do as an organization. We published nomination guidance. Who are your AC reps? What about members from your company? How many women are you sending to the W3C? Do you have a director of diversity, equity, and inclusion or an employee resource group dedicated to these issues? Maybe they'd be interested in participating in PWECG. We have a lot to do and very few people to work on it. Here's some resources in slide 12 that helped me build this presentation. I thank you and I look forward to your questions in the live session.